So I have wedged this. You can tell I use the ram's head method. You can see the eyes, the nose, that kind of thing, the little spiral. So I've already wedged this, so it's ready to go. Notice how much clay I have here. So hand-wise, I've got quite a bit, right? So kind of double hands holding onto this. I need clay for my handles. I'm going to take this clay, I'm going to put it in a bag. I need clay for the base. I'm going to take this other side, tear it away. This can be my base. The rest of this is going to be for the construction of the walls of my mug. And I'm making 2 mugs, and I'm making 2 identical mugs. All right, so I like to start my clay kind of always in a ball. Maybe that's just like a weird thing that I have, but I feel like I kind of get a feel for my clay. If you notice this clay is a little bit stiffer, I like that. I try not to make a lot of pounding noises on my desk. Notice I did all of that up in the air. I am going to make 1 thump on my desk. Now imagine all of us doing that. We're making loud noises for downstairs, so just be aware of that. So I need to make this become the bottom of my mug. So I'm thinking about the base of my mug, what it's sitting on. And I need enough for 2 of them. So over on the wall, as you walk into the room, you will find rolling pins. If you are working on another project and you need the slab roller, this is an alternative. If someone else is using the slab roller, you can use the rolling pins. Please be very aware that they do roll. And so if you set it on the edge of your desk, it will roll off and it will break the handles. And that's really bad because these are really nice. So be very cautious about these. Notice I'm not rolling this on here. It will stick, okay? And so then how do you get it off? You'll do it once and you'll say, I won't do that again. So instead, use some sort of fabric. The fabric is located back in the kiln room in a large trash can. So any piece of fabric will work. I do try to use fabric that doesn't have a lot of seams in it. So I like t-shirts or anything, just, look for seams. So with my piece of clay here, I'm going to use my rolling pin and just start to kind of press it down. Now, if I want an even, consistent thickness, notice how this will get kind of wavy. I have nothing to kind of help me figure out how thick it should be. You could use roller guides. So you could stack a couple rulers, anything to give you the height that you want. Be creative, look around. See how thick you want the bottom to be. I'm going to carve my bottom, so I'm going to use the depth of 2 rulers. I'm going to use my rolling pin, I'm going to push down, and notice how the rulers are underneath my rolling pin. They're not out here, right? If they're way far out, it's not going to work. Now already I've got it kind of long this way. Do I want it to keep getting longer or do I need to get it wider? So I start thinking about the size of my mugs. That's going to be wide enough for a base of my mug. If it wasn't, I would take my piece of clay and flip it around, but it's going to be wide enough. So I'm just going to keep rolling this until I get to the thickness of my rulers. So I'm starting in the middle, and if I push down real hard, now my roller is sitting on my rulers. Notice how there's a big dent in the middle? I'm going to push that forward, working that out, and I'm going to roll it back, and I'm putting a lot of strength into this until I get a nice flat slab. This is now going to be the base of my mugs. Okay, so I need something to draw a circle. It just so happens I have this cup. If I look at the size of this cup, this would be for like a wider mug, if I wanted that wider style, because I'm at 3.5. So I could use this cup if I want. I just need anything with a circle. So you can look around the room and find anything that has a circle. I like to use a fettling knife. F-E-T-T-L-I-N-G, fettling knife. That's what this tool is. So if you ever say, hey, grab a fettling knife, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to put some pressure down on my circle so it doesn't move. Working very closely to the bottom edge. Because I'm making 2 identical mugs, I try to do everything kind of factory-like. So I'm going to do 2 circles. Now, honestly, if I'm trying to make 2 identical mugs, I actually make 3. Because then I have 2 to choose from, right? And you can never have enough mugs, says the person who doesn't drink coffee or tea, or hot chocolate even. But you can never have enough mugs. Now, that might happen. Not terrible. Just peel that off. Take off my excess. This clay is still good, okay? So don't let anything happen to this. This can become coils. This can become all kinds of good stuff. So put that in your bag. Don't just let it sit out. If it sits out, it's going to dry out. So now I have the base to start my 2 mugs. Woohoo! Since I'm working on slabs, let's go ahead and keep this slab theory going. I like to have something for my mugs to sit on. I don't like to keep handling them and picking them up. So straight away, I start thinking about what board I want to put my mugs on. You have a lot to choose from, and there's a reason for that. The plastic boards, these plastic ones, these are great because they're not going to soak any moisture out of your clay. So I could set these on here and know that they are not going to dry out at any point. Well, I mean, unless I sit them out for good, but I don't need to do anything else special to this. However, these 2 boards, so this one is drywall. This is just the same thing as what's on a wall, just these walls. This is concrete board. So concrete board, its job is to suck the moisture out. That's great if you're trying to get the project to dry out, right? So if you're trying to get it to dry out overnight, trying to get it a little bit stiffer, these are perfect. If this is your only option, you can always take a plastic bag and put the bag on it first. You get the idea. Put the bag on it first and then put your project on it, okay? But these are going to dry your projects out, okay? So just be aware of that. It's a good thing if that's what you want. That's not what I want right now. I want these to stay wet and workable for a while. So I'm going to use the plastic board. Now this is how I'm going to handle my projects. Ideally, I like to have 2 separate ones because I don't want to work on them at the same time. So I would probably only do 1 at a time, that's what I'll do. Okay, so now this mug has its own board. I can handle it by moving this around instead of grabbing my mug now.